first glimmer of Orfa King was sparked during the planning, construction, and presentation of one of Minnesota's best neighborhood Halloween attractions experienced in the Twin Cities. Over the years, the formation of Terrors on 10th, DeCarnicus, and Dreadwood amazed and entertained thousands. Logistically, however, we had outgrown the space we had available to construct our masterpiece, much less hold the 1,000-plus visitors begging to be terrorized and intrigued, and we began to walk the line of potentially being shut down by the city or at least being highly regulated through various city ordinances. In an almost obsessive desire to both entertain while seeking new adventure and challenges, the idea of Orfa King was forged in the minds of Mike, Sean, and Daryl. The biggest hurdle, however, was we had absolutely no idea what we were doing. None of us had any filming or editing experience. We had never posted anything on YouTube and had no idea how the process worked. We had very little equipment and began using only our phones. To be honest, what you've been watching up to and including this presentation was accomplished with only phone cameras, a GoPro, one infrared camera, and an older model digital camera. We started out with free editing software and only recently upgraded to the full access version. Despite our limited equipment and experience, the more glaring problem was that we had never conducted a paranormal investigation. So, we all decided, as any well-researched and well-prepared group of scientific truth seekers would, and jumped in head first. We quickly researched haunted areas near us, grabbed our phones, and jumped in the car. What we quickly found is not everyone will let three strange guys run around their property, so we headed straight to Anoka, Minnesota, the Halloween capital of the world, where lies the Anoka State Hospital, a well-documented hub of paranormal activity. What Orfa King brings to you tonight are those investigations between the investigations, the scoutings and the research that yielded interesting information but didn't quite produce enough evidence, footage, or continued excitement for a full episode. This isn't to say that we won't return to the locations you're about to see, but we hope to come better prepared and with more experience under our belts. Here is what we found. In March of 2022, we went to the Anoka State Hospital. The destination, built in 1898, consisting of 10 cottages and numerous administrative and service buildings upon its final completion, had actually been a deeply guarded secret cooked up by Sean and withheld from both Mike and Daryl. The exciting thing was, we had no contacts, no guaranteed access, and no plan. When we found a parking spot we felt would not be deeply scrutinized and would not draw unwanted attention from security or the police, we began to wander the property, photographing, filming, and discussing what we knew of the location. Sean had provided a short dossier outlining the history of the location, and we began an immediate internet search of everything and anything that we could find. We did end up speaking with one woman who wished to remain anonymous, but was able to verify through her own experiences those claims cited by countless others. She began to outline a litany of experiences ranging from disembodied voices, feelings of unease, objects moving, and ghostly apparitions. We were energized by the interview. However, by the end of our discussion, we had started losing daylight, and we still had not found a way inside. With a sense of frustration, we headed to the cemetery on the grounds and conducted an uneventful EVP session.
Nothing. Not a thing. Hey.
Did you hear that?
Did you just touch my ear?
Yeah. You didn't hear me run over there real
No.
quick? Touch your ear.
All right, well.
Did you get something? What'd
Nothing.
you get?
Nothing.
Oh, come
Not
on.
a thing,
I see a
man.
light there.
Yeah, that's because it's on high sensitivity right now, and that's the battery light.
Oh.
And this is the flashlight.
By the end of the EVP session in the cemetery, it was fully dark. We started back to the car, but along the way, Sean found an open access to one of the many tunnels connecting the buildings of the Anoka State Hospital. The following is an EVP session Sean conducted there. The footage is stock, as Sean was unable to film while inside the tunnel.
Okay, so I'm down in one of the buildings,
Not in the building, but sort of in the building. And I'm trying to see if I can hear some kind of voices or something like that. So I'm gonna ask a few times for a response. If there's any spirits in here, give me a sign to let me know you're here. Well, I definitely don't feel anything. I don't hear you saying anything. So I am going to give up on you right now. So I'll give you maybe one more minute. Now's your chance. Make me a believer. I don't believe you can do anything. Probably really weak. That's probably why. Okay. The f*** was that? Okay. The f*** was that?
We were eager, but we were unprepared. We didn't get much, but we also did not leave empty-handed. The excitement that we felt at Anoka State Hospital was more than enough to fuel the push to continue our quest. We researched more and made the decision to check out Interstate Park near Taylors Falls, Minnesota. According to local legend, many stories describe paranormal activity occurring on both the Minnesota and Wisconsin side of the river. One involves the story of a little girl running across a drop-off near the St. Croix River. When someone tries to protect and stop the little girl from getting too close to the edge, she disappears. This was just one of the many stories we gathered after stopping by a local establishment and interviewing several of the patrons. Everyone we spoke with was eager and happy to share a tale or a personal experience. Before making our way riverside, we needed to wait until the sun went down. We took the opportunity to further investigate the town, including the local cemetery where residents claimed strong paranormal activity existed. We didn't find anything, but we took an opportunity to try out our narration skills and gather footage for a possible episode. We ended up screwing around a lot more than gathering anything that we could actually use. We quickly learned again that our lack of equipment strongly hindered our ability to film. We lacked proper lighting, but we made every attempt to make do with what we had.
Yeah, you can't really see. You can probably hear in the distance just how far of a drop off that is to the river. You can kind of see the river with your naked eye, not on camera. The flow of the river, the current, the strength of the river, and just how somebody might lose their life if they did jump off the cliffs here.
It was around this time that we captured, or attempted to capture, a particularly large orb we observed slowly moving across the top level of a docked paddle wheel river boat. Remember, we are still using only phone cameras and an old digital recorder. We were far too distant to record it without proper lighting. However, using a night setting and a longer shutter exposure on the phone allowed us to capture a still photo. You can clearly see the orb as it hovered and slowly moved into the upper cabin. After Taylors Falls, we spent a lot of time networking and securing that next great place to investigate. Between making phone calls and sending out email, we took a fair amount of time scouting out locations and listening for stories. We were hoping to find something new and exciting that hadn't been seen or featured in other ghost hunting shows. It's always amazing what you find on the road. There is a definite beauty in the crumbling and decaying buildings, the overgrown thickets, and the cluttered old barns and ruins of the past. Not to mention the people you meet and the stories you get to hear. It was around this time that we learned about Mrs. Pruitt. If you haven't already, check out episode 1 and don't forget to follow up with episode 2. We were able to secure permission to access the home in Minneapolis, and we set a date. When our investigation rolled around, it felt like things were falling into place. Though we still made mistakes, they were fewer and farther in between. We got a ton of great footage and some awesome paranormal evidence. The investigation helped solidify our commitment to Orfa King and bringing you the best content we can find and having a great time while we do it. But one episode of Paranormal Investigation Show does not make. We continued scouting and keeping our nose to the grindstone. Between our full-time jobs and family commitments, we learned of the Eagle's Nest Bar in Robbinsdale, Minnesota. We set a date and geared up. Despite our best efforts, however, we didn't capture much on the particular night we were there. But, as always, we met some really great people and heard a ton of great stories.
It'll be kind of a hot spot back here, right? If there's somebody in here with us, you could reach out and touch my hand. Let me know that you're here.
For this investigation, we tried new techniques and brought new equipment with us. We wanted to provide every opportunity for contact and evidence. This is also the first investigation where we tried the Estes method, or as Orfans know it now, blind man talking. This was the first time that we had used the yes-no prism. Daryl didn't even remember what it was called. We were all pretty surprised when we got a response almost immediately.
If you are here, tell us yes, which is on the left side.
If you're not here, tell us no, which is on the right side.
If you're maybe here, don't do anything. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
We've been told that there are two people that might be here. Are you Todd? Are you Callie?
Are you someone else? It's a little
No.
confusing.
Oftentimes, there are long pauses between a question and a response, or many of the questions go unanswered. Several of our questions that night had gone unanswered, but we did get one more final response.
Can we help you? Uh-oh.
See? Told
We
you.
can
He's over
help you.
there.
What can we help you with?
Can we help you? It's got to be a yes or no. What do you say? Can we help you with?
I'm telling you, he's trying to tell you to go over to the bar.
When we finished at the Eagle's Nest Lounge, it brought us firmly into the middle of the holiday season. During that time, we completed the editing of our first episode, and in February of 2023, we dropped that same episode featuring Mrs. Pruitt. Shortly after the release, we were gifted with the opportunity to investigate the Sweets Hotel in Leroy, Minnesota, which became our second episode. It was an amazing episode, and we all experienced something new. Make sure you check it out. When things started to warm up a bit and the snow finally cleared out, we resumed scouting in earnest. We had learned of a location in Henderson, Minnesota named Crazy Annie's Bridge. The story went that a woman named Annie, a mother of 3, lived near the bridge. Annie's husband had been tragically killed in the trenches of World War I. Overwhelmed in her grief, Annie felt she would be incapable of providing for her 3 children, and rather than see them starve, she brought each one down to the river. While there, she drowned each child, laying their lifeless bodies on the shore beneath the bridge. After the senseless murder of her own children, Annie, still in a fog of desperation and grief, took her own life, hanging herself from a tree said to still be near the bridge. While trying to conduct research into the claims of Crazy Annie's Bridge and gain some historical insight, we stopped at the Sibley County Museum and Historical Society housed in the Polar Mansion. The site is immaculately detailed, and our tour guide was one of the most informed and knowledgeable guides I have personally met to aid us on our journey. The problem we ran into was no one working that day had any information about the bridge. Yes, they had heard rumblings and rumors, all of which surrounded a distraught mother and the murder of her own children. However, a full name or specific knowledge of a family living in the area at that time could not be found.
It's just off of this.
Yep.
Stay straight.
Okay. Either way, I mean, it's such an ominous drive. You know what I mean? You just start to fall into darkness, and you're going down this trail. I could just saw some fireflies out there too. Yeah, look at that! All the fireflies in the.
Oh, wow.
Out in the
There's a
field.
lot of them.
When daylight finally faded and we made our way to the bridge, we jumped into our investigation. Through the swarms of mosquitoes and the blinking of fireflies, we reached out. But no matter how hard we tried, we weren't hearing any response, and there was no known direct contact made. We did experience some EMF, which was odd, as there were no buildings or streetlights in the area. During later review of the footage, we noted sound interference with our equipment with no explanation as to the cause. Despite our lack of evidence on this particular night, the story and claims are still intriguing and definitely worth another visit. The constant search for new and exciting places never ends. We extended our searches and continued to build our resources and contacts. We also continued to educate ourselves. We began to attend monthly meetings with the Minnesota Paranormal Research Society. It was at this time that we received an invitation to conduct an investigation at a private residence for a family who had reached out to the MPRS for answers. We couldn't pass up this opportunity and arranged a meeting. What we found during this investigation went beyond anything that we expected and opened new doors and possibilities we had not previously considered. I don't want to give too much away on this investigation because it still holds the possibility of a full episode, so we will definitely keep you posted. The Orfa King journey so far has exceeded our wildest expectations. We are having the best time bringing you great investigations. I mean, how often do you get out, meet new great people, see incredible locations, and get the heart rate racing? We continue to learn new things, and we grow with each new investigation. We hope that you, our Orfans, continue to join us in this journey and see how we grow with each new experience. 2024 is going to bring new opportunity and with it, great new content for you to enjoy. We can't wait to see what this year brings Orfa King.